Hello, beautiful friends. It is David Ault, and I want to welcome you to the gathering. It has been such a full time. Um, there seems to be quite a bit of loss happening amongst us in humanity. And you can tell sometimes there feels to be a little bit of a cyclical nature to that. And right now, it's like the waves are crashing on the shore of the experience of loss, whether it be with uh, terminal illness, whether it be through the loss that has happened from storms and all of the weather that has hit so hard on the United States, and all of the other things that happen to us just, again, by being human. And as I've looked at and searched within the best way to be with each individual, and everybody is unique and different, a lot of listening, I was reminded about how loss is different for everybody based upon, the old analogy of peeling away the onion, based upon where they were in what layer of the onion with regards to how much they have stripped away in their own personal path of evolution. That is indicative of how the dialogue goes back and forth. And then it reminded me of someone who once said, I'm not really fond of onions. I like artichokes. I like the idea of pulling out the artichoke leaves, stems. And when you keep doing that, what do you get to? You actually get to something, and it is the heart. So I was thinking about that in my mind as I'm having all of these discussions with people about where are we all in the layer of the artichoke? How close are we getting to understanding that what we are truly is not this form, but this heart that is creation itself, the absolute God. It's hard for us many times to wrap our heads around that in a sustaining manner because we forget. Even the most seasoned metaphysicians forget, particularly when there's a lot of loss going on. What that means is we are called upon to find ways to practice, to surround ourselves in environments that remind us that what we are is this heart. What that means is again, I go back to Rumi. You are the ocean in a drop, not a drop in the ocean. The drop in the ocean is this body. It's the relative. It's the thing that outlines all of the human experience, all of the things that are finite, that when we are unaware, we are clinging and grasping and doing our best to try to hold on to. And we lose all of those things. No job is permanent. No person in their form is permanent. No relationship is permanent, even if it ends before they pass or if it ends when they pass. No relationship to our beloved animals is permanent. Nothing that we own, possessions, are permanent. And yet, if we have forgotten, if we have not pulled away enough of the layers to get to the heart, then those losses understandably hit us hard. They have a way of even defining us, of creating an identity of someone who has loss. But if you and I are diligent in continuing to unravel the layers, to pull away, if you like onions, pull another layer of the onion, to get to the core, to the heart, then what we can see is the ephemeral nature of life, the way in which things come and go. And that does not mean to then not care. That does not mean to then lose ourselves at times in the love that we have for those things. But it is paradoxically understanding that even though I feel attachment, I know that I will lose that. And then I love it anyway. You see? So instead of trying to protect the heart, I expose it. I expose what I am as God, as that oceanic absolute in this little relative personality. I love big. I give big. I don't hold back. I allow what needs to be healed. And the beautiful thing about that then is you begin to see how our relationship with loss changes. So, one of my dear friends, about a month ago, I went with him to his final oncology appointment. That's the one where they tell you that there are no more clinical trials that they can offer you. And as we finished that up, and as I was just kind of there, I wasn't going to speak until he spoke. We got down to the lobby and we decided to sit there for a while. And they had one of those makeshift Starbucks there, and we sat over in the corner, and for a long while we just sat silent. And then he looked at me and he kind of smiled and he said, "You know, I'm actually kind of relieved." Um, he had been in doctor's appointments and clinical trials and chemotherapy and you name it for close to 4 years. And he had really been through the ringer. And now he was relieved because whatever time he had left, he was going to get to spend and love on his daughter and to let his friends and family know how much he loved them. And that felt so much more. Understandably, and we all do this, those other 4 years, whether it's you fighting an illness or fighting to prevent something from leaving or dying or losing, it's an energy. It's a tough cyclical energy that isn't sustainable. And oftentimes, true surrender happens when that cycle of using that kind of energy finally stops. And there is this freedom. There is a freedom in that kind of surrender. And so that's exactly what has happened in his final weeks now. He has gotten the chance to say everything that he wants to say and receive and feel the love. And of course, we always say, why do we need to wait? Why do we need to wait so long in order to keep peeling away the leaves of the artichoke to get to the heart? And so this isn't to mitigate loss. This isn't to make any response to loss wrong, but it is a constant reminder that loss is a part of the game. Loss, as defined in the conceptual mind or in the human experience, is equated to all things finite. But what is infinite? What is infinite is that heart, that soul, that pure essence of what we are. And you could say that the assignment of the soul is to come in and experience the finite nature of all that so that it has a way to have a deeper appreciation of its absolute nature. Who knows? Who knows why the design of being human was designed? But I do know that it is the most beautiful, exquisite laboratory. It is the most advanced curriculum, and that while we're in the laboratory or while we are in the human life classroom, let's do our utmost to peel away, to remove all of the things that shroud us or veil us or cause us to forget that what we are is our heart, the heart of the absolute. Um, Wherever you are with loss, take a deep breath. Um, don't try to outmaneuver it. Don't try to outthink it. Don't try to micromanage it. Even if for an hour, if that's your nature, is to fix it, Fix it not just for yourself, but fix it for other people. Take a breath and pause and turn to the appearance of loss. And strangely, thank it. Express gratitude for what it represented or what the thing that is now feeling lost represented. And see if you can connect to what pure gratitude is, the gratitude of having been loved, the gratitude of having had something beautiful in your life. And know that as we cling less and less tightly to trying to preserve all of that, that we become more and more in touch with what it means to live fully, to live in the now. And so this does not mean that you protect your heart in order that you don't experience loss anymore. Complete opposite. It means that you're going to open your heart even more. It means that you might rebuild. It means that you might love again, even after the sting or after the pain or the grief. It means that you will give, even though sometimes it appears as though all things are gone and you have nothing left to give. You will find a way to serve somehow, some way. And then loss does not become something that you continue to have to try and outrun, outsmart, but it becomes something that you see as a beautiful part of reawakening us to the fact that ultimately, here in the absolute, there is no loss. There is no loss.